Many of us do everything we can to live a long, happy, and healthy life. Sometimes, however, there are things we just don't seem to have much control over. Indeed, if you suffer from bad or damaged genes, you or any children you plan to have are potentially vulnerable to a range of terrible mutations. From excessive hair to multiple limbs to advanced aging, you'll see there are some truly bad mutations, which are thankfully very rare. Ectrodactyly. Imagine being born with hands or feet that were more like claws than actual human appendages. Those that suffer from ectrodactyly are also known to suffer from lobster claw syndrome. This condition alters the person's hands and feet, giving them a claw-like appearance. In actuality, those that have this most often have a thumb, ring, and baby finger, but the two outer fingers are fused, giving them mutated appearance. Proteus syndrome. Imagine having a genetic mutation that caused your bones and tissue to grow uncontrollably. With only around 100 known cases in the world today, Proteus syndrome is very real and one of the worst mutations recorded. Cruelly, those affected often don't show any signs at birth, only as they grow older and develop does it become obvious that things are not right. Perhaps the most famous person to have this mutation was Joseph Merrick, better known as the Elephant Man. Human tails. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a tail? It's uncommon, but every now and then a person is born with what is known as a vestigial tail. Normally in the womb, we all have small tails, which at some point are absorbed into our bodies before we are born. Those who are born with a tail often have it removed surgically, but there are instances of parents refusing to have their child's tail removed. Multiple limbs. When a child is born, parents are always quick to make sure there are 4 limbs, 10 fingers, and 10 toes. But what happens when your child has 8 limbs? No, you haven't just given birth to a spider, but a child with a very rare condition. In most of these cases involving extra limbs, the living child has partially absorbed a second underdeveloped fetus, resulting in numerous extra parts. The result can have something in the child as a mutant, or, in the case of this boy born in India, a Hindu deity. Mermaid syndrome. Is it possible for a child to be born with a tail where their legs should be? One internet hoax had some people briefly believing this was possible thanks to the girl with the snake tail. In actuality, however, the closest we have come to such an occurrence is in those who suffer from mermaid syndrome, also known as cyanomelia. Those affected are born with both their feet fused together, giving the appearance of a tail. Craniofacial duplication. Perhaps one of the strangest mutations we've seen involves children who are born with one head but 2 faces. In many cases, examples look like they're photoshopped, but are often all too real. Known as craniofacial duplication, it is extremely rare, and those who have it rarely live past childbirth. Often despite looking like one, the child is really actually 2 people with 2 brains. Doctors often suggest a termination of pregnancy in such cases because those born with this condition only live a matter of days after birth. Radiation. If life were like movies, then radiation would give us superpowers that we could only dream of. Instead, radioactive material actually ends up hurting us if exposed for too long. Take the children of Chernobyl, for example. In 1986, the nuclear facility of this Ukrainian city suffered a meltdown and spread radioactive material over a large area. Those affected suffered mutations to their genes, resulting in the birth of children with abnormal growths and affected organs. Hypertrichosis. Werewolves are a thing of fiction, often seen in books or movies. They don't really exist. Or do they? A rare genetic order called hypertrichosis can cause those who suffer to become covered in thick hair from head to toe. While they may look like a character from the X-Men, hypertrichosis provides no superpowers that we know of. What makes this mutation so bad is that there is no known cure, and any methods of hair removal are either temporary or can have potentially harmful side effects. Hyperdontia. Imagine how much longer it would take to brush if you had 3 or 4 times more teeth. This condition sees people's mouths often crammed with extra teeth. In some cases it can be 1 or 2, but in extreme cases it can be far, far more. As these x-rays and photographs show, the mouth can become so crammed it doesn't even look human anymore. Progeria. You often hear parents comment that their child is maturing quickly or is an old soul. For those who suffer from this genetic disorder, they literally are maturing, albeit far too quickly. Those with progeria suffer all the things we often only associate with the elderly: hair loss, wrinkles, deteriorating eyesight, cardiovascular issues. These are all experienced by people with progeria, usually before they hit their teens. What makes it worse is that there is no real treatment, and the average lifespan is only about 13 years. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Here's a couple of the videos that we think you'll find pretty cool. Also, please don't forget to click like and subscribe. Thanks!